But again, advertising in Facebook is marketing. I don't think that it's social media at all. I would never claim it to be. I don't think there's anything wrong with marketing. I'm still in marketing. I think that, marketing has higher importance on the food chain than social media. But let's be clear, an ad in Facebook is not social media. What is social media is I'm going to the Intel Facebook page and writing a comment or liking something that someone did or said on that page, and it's coming up in my feed. And that is what my friends and family are seeing, and because I work at Intel, they might think it's interesting and click on it. And that is engagement, my friends, that's not marketing.
And Kelly, quick question for you. So what do you think is the percentage of budget for social media at Intel compared to its worldwide budget?
About 0.3%.
Thank you very much.
And
I rest my case.
What is your case?
What is your case? Because, are you advocating we should not change from that?
90% of the thinking on social media right now, and it should be like 1.4% of the budget.
No, we're figuring it out. So we're talking about things that are relevant to us as an audience today. I'm going to be 40 in April. Most of you look like you're, at least somewhat in that realm. You're not. I don't see 17-year-olds sitting in the audience. And yet, that's who we should be thinking about, because they are going to have a totally different behavioral pattern, totally different than we do. I just read an awesome book called Makers by Cory Doctorow. You might have read that. Have you read that book? No? Awesome book. It's a science fiction book about the future and what entrepreneurism is like then, and it really caused me to stop and think about that and remind myself that what we're doing today is laying the groundwork for consumers of tomorrow. And although we think Foursquare is stupid, they do not. Although we are concerned about our privacy and giving out information and people, being evil corporate people finding our stuff, they have no social barriers at all about privacy whatsoever. So whether we like it or not, whether we think it's a good idea as, parents, etc. or not, that's the reality. So
if you like 18-year-olds, you'll love social media.
Team Grumpy Pants? What's this about the changing world?
I would like Carrie to tell her story about Foursquare.
Okay. So in February, I was actually at South Park with some friends, and it was actually after a social media club meeting. And Aaron Gray, I don't think he's here tonight, he checked in via Foursquare, and I said, oh God, I never check in on Foursquare, but since you're doing it, I'll do it. I wasn't a big fan because frankly, I see the big benefit for merchants. I don't really see the benefit for users. I don't think it solves a problem anybody has. But, it's...
You're not the demographic.
It's new and shiny, and I think the demographic is early adopters. I don't think it's going to translate to the public at large. But I checked in, and just a few minutes later, the hostess came to our table and said, are you Carrie Bugbee? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, you have 2 calls holding. So I went to the front desk at South Park, and both callers were calling to tell me that they had seen my update on pleaserobme.com. And the second caller was more antagonistic than the first caller, and in fact, when I started talking to him, I said, I'm not that worried. My house is really hard to find. It's not really on a map. Only the postal guy knows where it is. And he said, you stupid bitch. He said, he named off 2 or 3 different sites where you could find out where someone lives. He said, I'm sure that other guy's at your house robbing you right now. The whole reason he was calling you here is to make sure you're not there. So I went back to the table, and everyone was kind of like, wow. So I hurried home.
The fear on that side reminds me of another debate I heard recently.
But, and this actually was something that I had been thinking about for a really long time, which is that this whole status update where you're talking about where you are is definitely going to evolve into a gender issue. Because let's face it, it's safer for guys than it is for women to post where they are. And so I think all it's going to take is one high-profile stalking incident where Nancy Grace talks about it on TV every single night, and her family sues, the stalking victim's family sues Foursquare or GoWalla, and the public at large is going to go, what the hell were those crazy people thinking? Like, why would you do something so stupid?
I think the easy solution is the NRA sponsors Foursquare, and I think you've got two birds with one stone.
Well, those are early adopter services now, but Facebook will have location in a matter of months, and so then what happens? Does mainstream America respond positively to that kind of exposure of their data? Is it a new generation of people, or people? And
I think the sad thing is that it's the little rewards like the free drinks from Lola's room for saying that you're here that may end up getting them raped or their house robbed. No offense, Lola. She's a beautiful woman. But I think that, so what I do is I tweet a header after, not that anybody wants to rape me, I would be flattered, but I think that if you tweet a header behind where you are, people can't really figure out where you are. So I bunch my tweets up. I'm at Mount Hood, now I'm at the McGillicuddy's 25-cent arcade. You can't find me. You don't know. Now I'm home. You have no idea.
It's all relative, right? Carrie has a different living situation than I do. I've got a home alarm. I honestly don't worry about it. We're arguing amongst ourselves about what we would do. The point I was making is that we should stop thinking so much about what we would do, because we're not necessarily our own target market. We should think about who our audience is and what they do, and who our potential audience is and what they do.
Speaking of audiences, I wonder if it might be a good time to ask ours.
If you can hear them.
Audio will be a bit of a challenge.
Alex, what do you got?
I had a question on the location thing. Isn't location private? Don't you have to accept people to get your updates?
Yeah. You have to accept to share your updates. So you can choose or not to choose to do that. So you can, in Foursquare, you can have a circle of friends who can see your updates, or you can choose to share that on Twitter automatically.
So my point to that was that if you're not sharing, then what's the point of doing it at all?
You have